Starman, are you there? I'm on my way.
Someone must carry the torch.
I'll try.
Not you. It's definitely not you.
Well, we made it. Nebraska, folks.
I know this has been difficult. The move and a new stepfather, but we're gonna make a good life.
What were you?
I was Starman's sidekick.
What is this thing anyway?
It's called the Cosmic Staff. It's not supposed to work for anyone except Starman. Blow up a car.
I didn't, it did.
That's funny.
Someone using Starman's staff.
I killed one Starman. I can kill another.
There are villains in Blue Valley.
They're the reason I'm putting together this new team, to get justice. This is our destiny.
Who are you?
Stargirl.
Hello and welcome to DC Daily. I'm Clark Wolf and I'm joined by two of my buddies, Hector Navarro and our favorite Humphries.
Yo! What's up, y'all? Wait a minute. You have multiple Humphries in your life? How can that be?
No.
Excuse both of you. Very
Steve
rude.
Humphries is pretty cool. Shauna
Ah,
Humphries
he's the
is really
worst.
nice. Shauna's really nice.
I do
family.
I do like a Steve Humphries.
Mhm.
How are you guys doing?
Great.
Well, I was having a great day until you ruined it talking about Steve Humphries again. Ugh.
Sorry.
He's the coolest.
Yeah, he is the coolest Humphries though.
Signing off.
But you have the best hair.
I'll take it.
Okay. All right. Today we're recapping Harley Quinn, episode 6. All the best inmates have daddy issues. And Joker is kind of a snack without the makeup.
Yeah.
Flawed.
He's kind of like a fresh batch of bagel bites straight out of the toaster oven.
Sam.
Wow.
Still the Joker. He's still the Joker. Don't
True.
fall for it. Don't
All
fall
right,
for it.
you're right.
Okay,
You're right.
good point, good point. And you know what? He's animated anyway, so who cares? Let's just see what's coming up this week on DC Daily. Overall, we're taking a look at Joker, and he's normal. That was crazy to me. And once again, voiced by the great Alan Tudyk.
I know. Just racking up more and more DC Universe credits. I love it.
I mean, is this a new credit? It's technically the same character, but like a different personality. It's
he
still
puts
Alan's
so much
voice.
into every role.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to him just
Okay.
because I want his next credit to be on DC Daily.
Oh my gosh, when are we gonna get him on the couch?
When?
Probably not for a while, actually, unfortunately. When are we gonna get him on the Zoom?
Yes.
Hopefully soon. That's right.
This episode brings up the idea about people changing, which I think is like a
Yes.
central theme throughout the whole thing. What did you guys think about that? Can people really change?
The cool thing is that this show has me wanting to have that conversation, which I think is great. Can people change? Because the whole point of the show is that Harley did, right? Harley has changed, but then I think the more that we peel away at the layers of the show, Harley, I feel like, has always been Harley, but she was just sort of trapped with the wrong person. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if she ever really truly changed. I just think that she learned from that experience and from that relationship. But I don't know. Sam, what do you think?
This touches on something that we've talked a lot about on DC Daily, which is when you do different versions of characters, like you have Batman, but then you have Batman Gotham by Gaslight, sometimes those alternative versions fail when you don't embrace the emotional core of the character, right? That's what makes an icon of the emotional core of the character can be revisited in all these different ways. That is kind of, in a meta way, what they're talking about here, right? Because Ivy's talking about, like, Harley, you always are who you are at the core. I am always who I am at the core. It's almost like they're advising people who may rate them in other situations how to handle them the best. But believe me, like, I got the message. I'm taking notes. I get it. I get it. But it was really fascinating to me that this is like a philosophical question that dives to the heart of who we are as humans and something that anybody, any age, can reflect on their lives about. But it's also about how they are making the show and how they are treating these characters.
Very true.
It's interesting. I'm of the opinion that people can change, but they have to want to change. And it is a lot of work to implement those changes. And I think with these characters in particular, I don't know if they want to do the work to make those evolutions, but hopefully we'll have many, many, many more seasons with these versions of these characters, and we can see if that actually works out. All right, so most of this episode is told via flashback, and as a result, we get a lot of opportunities to take a look at origins. Lots and lots of origins for these characters, especially when we're delving into characters like the Joker. The origin is always such a hot button issue. But what did you guys think? What did you guys think of this episode's handling of the various origins for these characters?
I loved it. I absolutely loved this episode. It might be my favorite episode of this season. It might be my favorite episode of this series even, because we have talked about how much we've loved the psychology of these characters and the psychology that this show dives into with each of these iconic characters. And this one went full on. And I think that everything that they did, to what Sam was mentioning, to his point, it did not ruffle the core of who these characters are, but instead found a beautiful way to remix them. And we didn't spend any time with any origin for Batman because we so know who that character is. But what I think is fascinating is the relationship between Harvey Dent and Jim Gordon. And as soon as we know later, Harvey is out of the picture, then I think he becomes even a little bit more codependent on Batman. And we still see, shades of that in this episode. But if you notice, Jim Gordon was in good shape when Harvey Dent was around.
I did notice
he was
that.
shredded. Yeah, he was ripped. Yeah.
And now he's eating chips out of his chest hair, like he's not in the same
like
shape.
a man.
Like a man. That's not a chip.
He's eating that fresh batch of bagel bites. It's you smell them coming out of the toaster oven. This, I love a flashback and I love an origin story. This episode actually reminded me a lot of Young Justice, another favorite of ours.
Yes.
Because both shows, they have wildly different tones, right? Very different tones, very different intents, very different focuses, but they both do an outstanding job of, like you said, Hector, remixing the legacy that comes before them. They do a great job of not just picking and choosing the bits of the characters that are their favorites, but picking and choosing bits that may have been forgotten or overlooked, but also things that really work well together, not just like bits of Harley, but the bits of Harley that work with Poison Ivy and Joker and Jim Gordon eating chips out of his chest hair. Like it all works together. And there were a ton, I think, of Easter eggs in here, right?
For sure. I mean, I think too, it's been fun for me watching it with respect to the remix of it all. When we do dive into these origins, we're seeing iconic scenes and things play out from our favorite comic books. Like there's a lot of Mad Love flavor in there, obviously.
Yes.
I felt like there was some Dark Knight in there, the movie.
Right.
And, so like there was a lot of different, the show is doing such a great job of coming up with its own take on a lot of these very familiar ideas and stories, but also tipping its hat, to the fan favorites that have come before.
Yeah. In terms of the origins, I also really loved how this show has been doing it, and I feel like Harley Media across all of the different ways we're getting Harley in the past few months and years have been really doing it, where they're revealing Harleen has always been this way. She's always been messed up. She's always been fated to be the Harley Quinn that we know. And in this episode, even before Harleen is ever Harley, she spits in Harvey Dent's face and tells him to F off. Ivy said at the beginning of this episode, where she goes, no, as soon as I saw you, I knew that you were messed up. I knew that you were a little crazy, and we get to actually see that happen in this episode, which is great. And then she planted a seed. She gave Ivy a literal seed of friendship.
That was so sweet and so nice.
I loved that moment. That was such a great moment.
Yeah.
So great. It's crazy because if you look at this episode from 10,000 feet, you're like, oh, this is a Joker episode, right? And you're not wrong necessarily, but it is, they pull a switcheroo on it, right? Because it is a story about the Joker, but the story is really about how Harley and Ivy became friends. It sets up their friendship in such a strong way. In a way that makes me a little nervous that they felt like they had to set this up now to maybe there's trouble on the horizon for the two of them. I don't want to think about it. I don't even want to know.
Listen, this show is so good at subverting our expectations, yes. And the show's really good at being heartbreaking at times, like literally heartbreaking, because again, going back to that moment with Ivy where she reveals that Mr. Ferris was her ficus plant. And then she mentions very just like matter of factly, like, yeah, I stopped believing in humanity when my dad beat me. And it's this, like, I was like truly moved when I heard that. I thought it was so powerful and so sad and so tragic. And then she says, and I didn't believe in humanity until I met you again. Like I lost faith until I met you, which is just like brings me back up. So it's this roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that this show has been telling us the one constant is going to be Harley and Ivy. Harley and Ivy. So you can invest as much as you want in them. And I have a feeling we are not going to get heartbroken about that. They've already been through the ringer. I think they're going to end up on the other side strong as friends and maybe even stronger. That's all I want to say.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right, Hector. The Joker's origin is very controversial. Even the idea of Joker having an origin is controversial, right? Like a lot of people want to see it and a lot of people think you should never, ever show it. And both Batman, the Man Who Laughs and this episode, they really walk that line between explaining his origin and exploring his origin. Because in both cases, they don't tell you exactly what happened, but they tell you a story that still reveals something about the Joker's character.
Right. Well, and speaking of Joker, we see in this episode this masterful escape from Arkham, but with some laughs in there too. Poor Luigi.
Poor Luigi. No.
He's one of my new favorite side characters, Luigi, who said, my heart, it feels no good. And then he exploded.
That was a great scene, great sequence, very clever. Again, the Dark Knight, the bomb inside,
Yeah,
absolutely. It's right there.
I kind of wish now that Christopher Nolan's movie, The Dark Knight, instead of having an inmate that was like, please, man, he said that he would make the lights go away, and then he explodes. I wish it was an Italian stereotypical chef in the jail cell. In the middle of Christopher Nolan's movie, like, we picked up this guy. Please, sir, my heart, it feels no good. Everybody be like, what is this guy doing in this movie?
Let's talk about Jim Gordon and Harvey Dent.
Oh my God.
This was great. I squealed with laughter when I watched them doing their squats and doing their push-ups and just being men together. But every time we get to explore a little more of the Jim Gordon mystery, he was one of our favorite characters from like episode 1. With the first time we saw him, we kind of all fell in love with Chris Maloney's Jim Gordon, but we got a little bit of time with Harvey Dent as well. I love that they're gal pals. They're so cute together.
I don't know that it's a real big mystery, Clark. I think the mystery of Jim Gordon is he just needs a friend. Like
he really needs a friend.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
He really
it's so
does.
Funny. And I love the workout competition because I feel like it's a great little exaggeration of the idea of the men that are trying to do things for Gotham and sort of Batman's early years. Batman, Bruce Wayne, Commissioner Jim Gordon, Harvey Dent, all of the, the trifecta of these guys trying to get something done. And then in walks Dr. Harleen Quinzel, another part of this equation. And it's men doing men stuff. I think it's just a great little funny way to exaggerate that whole idea. So,
yeah, I love this for them. I think they're great together. I want to be gym bros with them, even if the gym is just Jim's office. You know what? They support each other. They encourage each other. They're pursuing a healthy lifestyle together. They're exercising their office, so they're good to quarantine together. I love this for them.
Listen, you can do squats and push-ups anywhere.
Exactly. Not that I would know, but yes.
I still miss from season 1 Clayface's hand as Jim Gordon's buddy.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
I hope that whenever this show, and I hope we don't get this finale for a long, long time, but whenever the show does truly end, I hope that it ends with Jim Gordon and full Clayface, all Clayface, deciding to be buds again. That would make me very happy.
That would be great.
Come back. It's got to be like the little Lobo thumb in Young Justice, how that kept coming back.
All right. Well, we touched on it a little bit before, but this episode wraps up with this question about Joker not really being Joker anymore, or is this a long game? I actually got to tell you, so I was pretty surprised when Dr. Psycho was able to go inside this character's head and find nothing. Like truly. I mean, that was not something that I was expecting, but what did you guys think about the whole like Joker, is he, isn't he plot?
I think we're going to get some, I think that it was a great ending where he starts to laugh at that picture of the kids, of his girlfriend's kids covered in like pasta sauce or whatever, but he thought
sauce face.
It was like, okay, it looks like they're kind of covered in blood. I think that was a really, really smart ending because I think that the show is going to reveal through comic book shenanigans that Dr. Psycho's presence and him having Harley and Ivy in there to check stuff out somehow was the thing that awakened what the Joker was. I feel like he almost, like the show might even say, he almost would have been fine had he not been brain tampered by Psycho, or at least brain visited by Psycho. And that,
see, that's the thing. Like, whose word are we taking here? Dr. Psycho? Is he really the best at his job? Is he really a doctor?
Sam, are you telling me that a doctor would not come up and stand next to you in a stall and open with "nice unit"? That sounds like something a doctor would say, Sam.
You know what? I don't think that's the kind of thing that they talk about when they say bedside manner. Absolutely not.
Okay, fair point. Fair point.
All right, before I let you guys go, let's play our own version of Kiss Mary, Drop in a Vat of Acid.
I'm dreading this. This is horrible choices. I can't even.
These are tough ones. Let's start with new Joker, Dr. Psycho, and King Shark. What do you do?
Okay.
Dr. Psycho, automatic, drop in a vat of acid for sure. And then I would kiss new Joker because he's a hunk. He's a hunk.
Okay,
I don't trust him. So a kiss and that's it. And gotta marry King Shark because
agreed.
Such a sweetheart. He's so cuddly. There's so much to cuddle.
I think you marry new Joker though because he takes such good care of those kids, right?
Until he's gonna revert back to Joker.
You're gonna trust him with your kids?
I would trust King Shark over new Joker with my kids.
100%.
All right. I take your word for it. I'm not a parent. What do I know? Well, this has been super, super fun, guys. Thank you so much for chatting Harley with me, and I can't wait for the next one.
Oh my God, me too. This is so great, and I love seeing you guys, and I love talking about it with y'all.
Sam, you know what? You're the best Humphries again. You're the best one.
Agreed.
Yes.
See?
You just gave me a chance.
People can change.
Ah.
All right, you guys. Have a great week, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.